Welcome to the Post-Human Podcast.
Welcome to the Post-Human Podcast, folks. Today's guest, I want to say founder, because of the LK lifestyle method. It's your own method. So the founder of the LK lifestyle method, nutritionist and fitness instructor, Lehi Kafri.
Lehi.
Ah, God damn. You said it for the listeners out there. We did go over this about 30 seconds ago. And well, in a typical fashion, we still messed it up 10 seconds later. So my apologies. Let's crack on. So this method, I'm very intrigued myself. I do a lot of fitness myself. Mm-hmm. Let's delve into it.
Great. So LK lifestyle method, basically, I help my clients break away from diet culture and stop buying into all the fitness gimmicks and all the short-term fixes.
Yep.
Because above all, I think that has what has screwed so many people over and has made them frustrated, want to quit, start over on Monday, and feel like they have to restrict the foods they love. So my method is all about actually educating them through the process of how to eat, how to train, however they want, without sabotaging their results. In short, like in a nutshell.
that's a great explanation. It was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, because I've seen one of your videos. And when you see people that are giving people fitness advice and they can still have a glass of wine and look amazing, you're like, well, I drink myself, I smoke, and I'm a good example that you can kind of still be pretty fit and just live a normal life. I smoke
Absolutely.
like a trooper. I smoke a lot, but yet I can still run pretty well. I can keep up with my son. I can probably blow up more balloons than a lot of most. I'm pretty good at blowing balloons. Let's just put it that way. Paddling pools, give me one of them, blow that up in a second. So I believe that, your method is pretty on the ball just for me. Because people do get a bit like, oh, I've got to cut this out and I've got to cut this out. And 9 times out of 10, your body has already made its decisions about what to do with those years upon years of, health choices.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's that, nowadays, everybody has an all or nothing mindset. It's like they have to be all in, eating chicken and broccoli, working out 6 days a week, or fuck it. Oops, sorry.
No,
Are we
you're
allowed
good.
to curse on your podcast?
Yes. Boy,
Okay.
Believe me, this is a very loose podcast. Trust me.
Okay.
I drink, I smoke, I curse.
Okay. Okay.
Opinions are they don't really matter. Trust me.
Got it. Or the fuck it method or the fuck it like mindset of like, I don't care. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to do what I want. But then at the end, you still have that shitty feeling. And then that's when you're like, you do reach a limit. You do reach a point where you're like, oh, I should get healthy. I should get back. And that whole vicious cycle starts again. So the biggest thing with my programs and my clients, and really just what I like to put out on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and once I get going, hopefully YouTube this year, but really just teach people, it's tough, but really just teach people like, know your numbers, meaning know your calories and your macros. And again, you don't have to do it forever. A lot of people will be like, oh, Lehi, I don't want to track for the rest of my life. And I was like, it's not about tracking for the rest of your life. It's about gaining awareness of like, how much do you actually normally eat and drink in a day?
Yep.
How much do you actually move your body in a day? And once they're aware of that, like a lot of light bulbs start switching on and they're like, oh my God, like, okay, like that makes more sense. Like I had no idea I was only eating, X amount of calories. I could eat way more if I actually wanted to. Or it could be, wow, you know what? I eat so strict Monday through Friday, but as soon as the weekend hits, I triple my calories, over the weekend. And that's why I'm at square one, on Monday.
That's the thing with cheat days as well. I don't really believe in cheat days because you kind of make all this huge progress and then go, right, fuck it, let's gobble down the world. And then, like you say, the next day, you've got to completely get rid of it all. And you're never really in a deficit. Sorry.
Yeah. And I tell my clients, I'm like, don't look at it as a cheat day or a cheat meal. I was like, that's like a negative connotation to like that behavior. And that makes you feel guilty. I was like, think of it as a treat. And also do it to where you can fit it into your calories and your macros. And I actually make a challenge, like the first week or two that I'm working with someone is I ask them what their favorite thing is. So like, I'll use myself as an example. Back when I was a yo-yo dieter and binger, I loved Ben and Jerry's ice cream, like, or Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
Yeah, me too.
The more stuff in it, the better. And I would wait till Friday or Saturday to like have it. And I would have the entire pint and it was great. And then I'd have regret later. So what I like to encourage people to say is stop putting that food or that drink on a pedestal, knock it off, have it every single day this week, every single day. So if it's that they love red wine, I was like, have red wine every single day this week. Just make sure it fits into your calories. Or I'll say, have that ice cream every single day this week. Just instead of a pint, like have one of those like prepackaged serving sizes that is like 200 calories, but have it every single day. And when they do that, their mindset shifts from this isn't a big deal anymore. This isn't taboo anymore. Like I'm not breaking any rules. And at that point, the food loses its power. They look at it and they're like, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, I actually don't even feel like ice cream tonight or like wine tonight, So that's a big part of it. It's just like breaking down that food psychology and how we put it on a pedestal, which is why we have these bad behaviors around food and like a bad relationship.
Especially with sugar as well. Sugar's tragically bad for you.
It's addicting. And there have been studies. There's like an MRI study where they did sugar and cocaine, and your brain reacts the same way that it would from a hit of cocaine.
Well, it's actually hits you more than cocaine. It's more addictive. That's what's crazy.
So like I tell people, I was like, it has nothing to do with your willpower. It has to do with food companies putting millions and millions of dollars into research regarding the taste, the texture, the like smell, everything that goes into it to where it addicts you like nicotine right away. So that's why I always say, like, listen, when you're eating, when you're drinking, just use the 80-20 rule, which is what works in the end. It's like 80% make common sense choices, choose whole foods, like real food, to where it looked quite close to what it looked like coming off the tree or out of the ground or, in the farm. 80% of the time. And then 20% have whatever you want. And when you do that, you actually have moderation, you have balance, and you're going to see a difference and change in your body, period.
One of the things that I find, excuse me, is it's just people that don't move and that just eat shit and they're not burning anything off. They're just eating processed food all the time. With very little movement. They'll do their normal day-to-day things, but they won't do like just going for walks. They won't cycle. They won't go to the gym. But they just consider their normal day-to-day enough. And you're like, yeah, but then you're sitting there complaining and eating this crap. It clearly isn't enough. You need to be in a deficit. You need to be moving. You need to physically be off your ass 24/7 if you're if you're really serious about things, to be honest. You can't half-ass it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and in today's society, like, it's all technology. So we're more prone to be like sitting at a computer or desk or on our laptop, on our phone. Like, so again, it's kind of like, like you said, like, take walks, park further from the grocery store, take the stairs instead of the elevator, like bike places, like
stairs are brilliant.
When I want to go drink, like, I live in a place, luckily, where I'm able to ride my bike down to downtown to go to the bars.
I used to do that.
I'm like,
I guess there's been a few moments.
I don't get like totally.
It's a fun story. I used to bike to, well, it was probably about 15 miles, and then I'd go and get drunk. But by the time you're biking home, you can sober up a bit. But one night, whoa, so too much. And then halfway, I got a flat tire, and it was down country roads, and it was a crap time.
Oh my gosh.
But-
At that
but
point, I
obviously-
would say get Uber.
Yeah, well, Uber wasn't around at this point either. This
Yeah.
was many years ago, but it was just funny the way in which I didn't even get to sober up properly, because obviously if I was pedaling and biking, I was like, well, this is hard work. But obviously because I was walking and it was just dragging, it was when you then get more tired. And then eventually I just left the bike. I literally just left it in a hedge and then carried on. But yeah, drinking, it's it is fun. But if you
have a plan A and B.
yeah, I mean, Ubers in this day and
like-
age are a lifesaver.
Yeah, but I mean, overall moving, and again, people will box themselves into thinking that they have to do CrossFit or they have to, run like 25 miles a week. And the thing is, you don't have to do any of that. Like, the only time you will catch me running is if there's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
I will not run. I refuse to run. I'm an ex-gymnast, so I'm like power in like 30 seconds or less. Like, that's it.
That makes sense.
So do something that you enjoy, whether it's, if you do love to run, great. If it's, weightlifting, I always say weightlifting is the best because
That's what I'll do.
you're going to build muscle.
Yeah.
The more muscle you build, the more calories you burn. The more calories you burn, your weight's going to drop down and you're going to be able to maintain whatever result you want it to. So I personally will push strength training for my clients, but not in a way that's going to make them so sore or just hate their life, but in a way that they're going to feel a difference. And then the best part is they're going to look in the mirror and be like, damn, I look good.
Are you a fan of resistance bands?
I love resistance bands.
They're
I
amazing.
love weights. I love anything resistance training, because if there's any fountain of youth, and this is especially for my female clients who, when it comes to cellulite or they're just have squishy areas, I literally is if you want to drastically reduce that, if you want to tighten up, if you want to per se tone up, which tone is such a marketing
It's a tool. It's a buzzword as well.
Trendy thing. Well, tone just means build muscle.
Yeah.
Tone is the muscle. So I'm just build muscle and you're going to be firmer, tighter, and your partner is just going to not be able to keep their hands off you. So, and I am not responsible for anything that happens after that. I was I'm not responsible for how sexy you get and what your partner wants to do.
Shouldn't you have to claim some of that responsibility? You did the transformation.
They're all happy. They're all happy after. I've had clients where they're just oh my God, Lehi, my sex life has improved so much. Thank you. And I'm you're welcome.
Well, that's always a bonus when you hear that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's-
So I'm just and those are the true transformations. I'm it's great to lose weight, feel healthier, but if your overall life improves where you're more confident, you're, having more intimacy and you're just having a better time, that's motivation.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And I'll ask clients, the first question I'll ask is, why do you want to, achieve this goal? Or what are your fit goals? And why? And they'll say, oh, I just want to get healthy. And I'm okay, but why do you want to get healthy?
Yeah.
And they're oh, just so I have more energy and, I can do stuff. I'm but why? And what I'm doing is I'm peeling the layers to be what's going to actually get you out of bed and into the gym or, eating healthier? What is actually going to do that? Because getting healthy isn't going to do it.
No.
But when they say, I want to look good naked, now that's motivation.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing as well is most people, when you can just peel back and they just give such a generic answer. And it's just because, I want to feel happy. Yeah, but what makes you happy? What's the fundamental reason behind it all? Because if you don't know what that is, you're not going to really get anywhere. You need that initial. It's like a bullet in a gun. It needs to go off in their head, and then once it does, bang! They've got it. But just saying, oh, I want to be fit and healthy. The reason I want to do it is so I can run around with my kids.
Exactly, and that's such a good motivation right there.
He's already faster than me. What the fuck am I meant to do about that?
They have endless
I can't.
energy.
Yeah. He's got infinite energy. I'm doomed. Between podcasting and then just being up all the time and pissing around, and it's a lot. And then he's getting quicker. He's already two and a bit, and he's quicker than me.
God.
I have to literally get my ass moving. If we're on a field, so we'll go to a park and I'll let him off, then run over the field, and then boom, he's gone. And I'm oh shit. He'll go the opposite way rather than going towards a park. He'll be I'm going that way, and I'm whoa. God. So I have to leave. full on sprint after them. So it's one of my reasons, I think we all need to do that. And that's one of the most enjoyable things as well. If you've got kids, just to run and play, and it's all fun.
Absolutely. And I think like at the end of the day, it just has to be a strong enough why that it actually like hits a pain point in you, where it's like, how would you feel if you couldn't run with your kids or do anything with your kids, and you had to like sit on a park bench and watch them play, and they ask you, Dad, play with me, and you're like, fuck, I'm too tired, I can't, or this hurts or that hurts. So I think at the end of the day, it's like, make it bigger than just the generic. Make it actually, if you don't do it, it's painful. If you
making attainable goals as well. Most people set these huge milestones and they're just impossible, and then they'll hit the first hurdle and go, shit, this is a doomed project now, and then they just back off the whole thing. Whereas if they just make small little incremental changes, they don't even notice it as well. That's the fun part, is they don't notice all these small changes until 6 months later, and they go, oh shit, where did this progress come from? And it's like, it was just there most of the time. You was just focusing on the actual goal rather than the problem.
Yeah, and that's part of it. It's what I do with my clients, aside from obvious nutrition and exercise, which is really just going to give them a better body composition of what they want, like give them their desired physique. That third piece is going to be habits, lifestyle habits. And the thing is, I will literally give them one habit a week to just focus on, meaning like, number one, drink more water, drink half your body weight in ounces water. And they'll be like, that's it? Like, what else? And I'm like, no, just do that. If you can prove to me you can do that every single day, then I'm going to give you another habit. And what happens is they start stacking these habits, and it creates that shift, like slow shift into like, wow, this is second nature. Oh my God, I just went up a flight of stairs and I'm not out of breath. Or, oh my gosh, I just put on my skinny jeans and they actually fit, Or I get to wear, I get to go, to the beach and I wear like a bikini. Like I had a client where, they have these breakthroughs where they're like, I just ordered a bikini and I haven't ordered a bikini in a decade. And I told them from the beginning, like, you're going to be ordering all new clothes. You're going to be feeling more confident. I had a client who got a promotion because her losing weight gave her the confidence to actually speak up in the meetings that she was in and her ideas. And then she got promoted. And I was like, so when people need to think, it's not just about looking good. And I mean, obviously feeling good is great, but it's like very multifaceted when you do become a better version of yourself, because you'll get more money, you'll have a better sex life. You'll be able to keep up.
Seems to be a good focus, that sex life issue.
Yeah. It's a big motivator.
Seem to push that one quite a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely what gets my clients going. They're like, okay, yes, let's do this.
But no, I can understand exactly what you're saying. It makes complete sense.
If I wasn't a fitness trainer, I probably would have been a sex therapist.
Well, you could do the two.
I probably could.
Could. There's a lot of hours in the day.
Oh yeah.
Trust me, there's too many hours in the day sometimes.
Might be the next thing. Who knows?
You could just do a sex therapy podcast, get people to call in, and that'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's a few out there.
I'll have to look at them.
I spilled that. Now I'm fucking beard, man. It's terrible. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh no, that was it. I said I'll have to.
Oh, you'll have to look into it. Do you take many supplements or anything like that?
So I actually used to be very anti-supplement in the beginning of just coaching, because a lot of times people, if I would recommend something, they would take that supplement and literally replace it. So it's like they would do protein shake instead of eating actual food that's protein, like, actual food, like animal protein product, or just anything that's actual, like plant-based proteins. They wouldn't eat real food anymore and they'd swap it. And so again, you have to understand, supplements are to supplement your diet. So if you have a lack of, and then also like do your research and find brands that are actually very high quality, find companies that are very high quality, because if you go for those cheaper brands at your normal general like supermart stores, they're crap. And it's just expensive urine you're paying for, because you take it and it runs right through you.
Well, it's not even really that. I mean, you get tons of fake products, especially in like the women's market, for like counterfeit weight loss tablets. And
Totally.
there was a sort of gel one at one point that was pretty bizarre. You normally see them like being pushed all the time on like Instagram and places like that.
Yeah, like skinny tea.
Yeah,
which is just like a laxative for women. I'm like, why do you want to run to the restroom all the time? Like, that's horrible.
You might as well just drink a shit ton of water and get the same better result. And
oh yeah, exactly. But like, that's free, right? And so that doesn't sell.
Kind of free, but
kind of free, yeah. But the thing I always say is like, when it comes to supplements, like, if I do recommend anything, my two biggest go-tos are like a very high quality multivitamin. And there's one that I get from Yaya Holistic. They're on Instagram. They're like a small company, but they have Irish sea moss, which has like 92 out of the 102 minerals our body creates. So it replenishes your body when, you know, the foods that we eat, if we don't really eat enough nutritious foods and then it doesn't absorb, that really helps boost and give your body that like repair and replacement. So that's really good. I would say Irish sea moss for sure. And then vitamin D3 for your immune system. And I think now more than ever, people need to be not thinking about what can I do to, you know, like, I guess, like, instead of like sanitize constantly and, you know, use cleaning products and like wear a mask and like all these things, instead of doing that, how about we just actually focus on boosting our immune system by doing what we should have been doing the whole time, which is eat healthier, real food, drink more water, and then either take a vitamin D supplement during the winter time when you don't get enough sun. But, you know, during summertime, like, get outside and get vitamin D, because that's going to boost your immune system. It's going to elevate your mood. And they actually there was a study done where like the vast majority of people were vitamin D deficient. And that was a big reason there were so many cases of like COVID and like people getting sick. And
it was a huge factor.
Huge factor. And there were doctors saying like, take vitamin D3 or get outside so your body can absorb and produce that, because there's such a deficiency in it. And if you have more vitamin D, your immune system is going to be more like equipped and geared for whatever's to come. Because the thing is, there's going to be viruses, there's going to be things that come no matter what. Unless you want to live in a bubble, which I don't plan to. No. You know, there's a reason, like they say, put your kids outside, let them play in the dirt. You're building immunity. Like, so you have to expose yourself. You have to get out there, but there's other ways to very much, like, very simplistically be stronger, have healthier, you know, immune systems. So vitamin D3 is a big one.
Yeah. I'll take 10,000 IUs of that shit.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm pretty much on that. Well, I'm on loads of stuff. I'm on loads of stuff. Like, again, we talk about supplements. I'm on nothing, nothing illegal, but I'm just on a whole mess of different things. Got like K2 and stuff like that, and there's obviously some sort of. I've got quite a lot of bodybuilding stuff that I need to train a bit more at the minute, but it's just finding time. Here's a weird one that I found is because I look into a lot of like supplements and tablets. And I didn't realize that folic acid is just good for women as a general all year round, whether they're trying for a baby, whether they're pregnant. Right. It doesn't make any difference. Apparently, it's just really, really good, which is a lot of research into that. All women should literally just take it. I can't remember the full reasons. But another one was which kind of shocked me, was creatine. And I was like, that's kind of more of a man's thing. And I wouldn't really imagine many women wanting to deal with some of the effects of creatine, but apparently it's really good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, creatine definitely, it's the one supplement, and I'm talking creatine like monohydrate, like the very basic of the basic. Don't get anything that's like has some fancy like sexy marketing around it. Just get the basic creatine monohydrate, because for men and women, it's going to help you build more muscle. And it is the one supplement in actual like college study, like actual like peer-reviewed studies that has made a difference, that actually has a substantial difference and like improvement in muscle mass and building that. And it's the most cheapest one, and it's the most like, everybody's kind of like, oh, whatever, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I would say definitely for women, like there's tons of women, especially in like the bodybuilding community, who use it and have amazing results.
Oh yeah. It's just
And
after effect.
I will definitely say this though, for any women who think, and I'll probably create a reel on this just because I can't believe people still, or women most of the time still think this, but like lifting weights does not make you bulky.
No,
Let's just set that aside.
it doesn't.
It's you eating like a football player that makes
Yep.
you bulky, because if you have muscle and then you have fat over the muscle, so then you kind of look per se bulky.
Yep.
So it's like, clean up your diet. That's 80% of your results. 20% is how you want your body to actually look. And that's where like a proper strength training program is going to sculpt you the way you want to look, period.
Most blokes that are super jacked are always taking barrel loads of supplements. They're on about 4,000 calories a day.
Oh yeah.
For a woman, it's not going to happen. If you're trying to, not especially if you're trying to attain a goal, you're not going to take 4,000 calories. It's preposterous. It'd be
And men and women, it's like, it's completely different. You guys naturally with your biology have more muscle mass, have just, you're bigger, so your caloric burn is much higher than ours.
Well, I don't know about me. I'm 5'7", so I'm not that big.
Yeah, but I guarantee you, like, you'll burn a shit ton more calories
no, I do,
than I'll ever will. And again, hormones play a huge part in it. For women, fat equals fertility. So our bodies don't want to give up fat, because it's like, just in case I get pregnant, I need all the fat I can get to like help grow this baby. So like for women, it's very like different. But I will say, actually, ironically, 9 out of 10 of my female clients I take on are actually under eating. They're eating way less than what they should be. And when I tell them you have to eat more in order to lose the weight, they look at me like, what? That's no. Like, they don't believe me. And I'm like, you under eating is slowing your metabolism down, because now your metabolism is like, oh shit, like she's not feeding me. We're going to hold on to what we got, and I'm not going to give anything up. And if I have to give something up, guess what it goes to? Your protein stores. And that breaks down your muscle, which the less muscle you have, the less calories you burn. And then you have those women who maybe they're skinny, but they're like squishy. It's like, I call it skinny fat, where it's like, no, it doesn't feel good. Like, so, you know, a lot of the times it's, and again, it goes back to all the magazines that say, I don't know why this was the number, but it's like, get on a 1,200 calorie diet and you'll lose weight. And it's just like, okay, first of all, I am 5 feet tall. And for my resting metabolic rate, I have to eat way more than 1,200 for my body to function normally. Like that's minus exercise. So like your resting metabolic rate is just how many calories your body burns at rest. Like you laying on the couch, watching Netflix all day, doing nothing.
You burn a lot.
Like normal stuff. You burn calories. So it's like, if you're like, you know, if you're at like 1,500 as like, that's what your body burns every day without doing anything, but you're eating 1,200, guess what happens?
You got your calorie deficit.
You start going down and your metabolism starts going down. So it's like, you have to at least eat above that. So your body is able to understand like, oh, like I'm getting fed, I can be energetic, I can do shit, and I can burn calories normally. And I had a client, she was, it's not just like the skinny fat. I had a client, she was 5'6", she weighed 216 pounds. And she's like, for the life of me, Lehi, I cannot lose a single pound. And I've done everything. And I was like, okay, I want you to track your calories for the day and just tell me how much it is. She tracked her calories, and she's the type of person that was like super busy, would skip meals because how busy she was. She was eating 800 calories a day.
Jeez, that's nothing.
And I was like, how are you operating? Like,
my son eats more than that. Yeah. Like,
And when I told
That's
her,
nothing.
when I calculated out what her actual like calorie needs were and what her goal should be, she looked at that number like, that's way too much. That's so much. And I was like, okay, we're going to do a reverse diet where we like slowly, very, very slowly build your calories up. And over 6 weeks, we finally got her to where she needed to be. And she started dropping weight like crazy. And the best text message I ever got from her, from like just a check-in, was, oh my God, I broke the 200s, just weighed in at 196, and I had steak and potatoes last night.
Wow.
And I was like,
That's a good one. Especially like steak and potatoes is a good meal, man.
yeah. And it was literally like, you just got to eat because you're depriving your body, and it's the metabolism is just, you're wreaking havoc. You're wrecking havoc on your metabolism. So a lot of what I try to focus around is like, you guys, like, if you can repair your metabolism, you know, you're going to be able to lose the weight, because especially with women, again, sorry, ladies, but it's true. We've been conditioned all our lives to diet. And so the more you drop those calories, the less efficient your body's going to be at burning them. So until you start refeeding your body what it needs, you're not going to burn calories. And then when you work out, even like if you step one toe out of line, it might work for a little bit, like 1,200 calorie diet. It could work for a little bit, sure.
Not very efficiently.
But then you're going to feel like shit. You're going to be tired. You're going to be eating the most strictest diet ever to keep what number you have on the scale. And the moment you have one bad thing, the moment you have a donut, or the moment you go out with friends and have like margarita or, you know, a beer, you're going to blow up. And I know this because it happened to me. I've been a guinea pig for everything that's gone. Like, I've been extremely, like, you know, I had like the chubby, you know, I looked like a little Shetland pony back in the day, and I was chunky and cute, but I hated it. But then I've also been on the other side of the spectrum where I was super lean, super ripped, but miserable.
Yep.
And what I want to show people is extremes are not good. It's about finding that middle balance, because when I was chubby and fat and like just so not confident, insecure, didn't ever want to go out with my girlfriends, like would, you know, stay in my dorm room. This was back in college, and like just cry because I tried 10 outfits and I hated it. I hated myself. And then I was like ripped, looked freaking amazing, could wear whatever I wanted. But guess what? Because my body fat percentage was so low, I had no sex drive. I had no energy. I didn't want to go out with my friends because, God forbid, I go to the movies and have popcorn with them. It's like I had no life. I was socially isolated. So either doesn't work. And it's about finding that middle where you can enjoy food and social events, because think about it, like we connect over food. Like we go to dinner with you, we go on dates, we go to dinner, we have barbecues with our family. Like food is a social thing. So why not, instead of like deprive yourself, figure out how to fit all that good stuff in and live your life, right?
Yeah,
so.
Makes absolute sense. Again, I'm no, but
I get super passionate about it because I've been there and I know what it feels like.
Well, that's the other thing, is obviously you said you like, again, being a gymnast, that's very tricky. You know, that's a very weird sort of body shape in a way, because you've got to be kind of thin, but you've got to be, like you say, you've got to have a bit of muscle for that explosive power. Gymnastics is very tricky. Those dudes that do the iron rings and shit, man. But their body shapes are ridiculous. They're like a V with like these teeny legs, and then they've got this huge, just jacked body. But you know, even for certain events, it's just such a
you have to be extremely strong, and then but then you also have to be light enough to get that
height,
or at least powerful enough. So I mean, I remember during like when I was training in high school, like, you know, I would be very like buff and built. And then I'd go to gymnastics camp over the summer at like Bella Caroli's camp in like Huntsville, Texas, where all the Olympians trained.
Oh shit.
And it was summer camp. Like it was great. But I remember coming back from camp after the summer and being like super lean, lot thinner. I would drop 10 pounds just because we were training so much, and they were like our food intake was very like sectioned out.
Yeah.
So So like literally anything we did, we would just burn up. So I mean, and they weren't like restricting us from food, like we could eat whatever we wanted. But the amount of activity we were doing was causing us to lose weight, because we'd have a 3-hour training session in the morning. Then we'd have a break, which the break meant everybody goes to the pool to play and swim. So you're burning calories there.
Yep.
Then another 3-hour training in the afternoon. And then at night, we would have games like basketball, soccer, volleyball. So what are we doing? We're moving
all
the
day,
entire day, like just burning calories. And in a perfect world, that's awesome. But like in the real world, nobody has time to work out 6 hours a day.
I used to be an outdoor activity instructor myself, and we used to do all sorts of stuff like rock climbing, and there was a whole mess of things. But you'd literally be up at like 5 a.m, even as an instructor, and then you go to bed at like 1. And it's like you're doing all these things all throughout the day, and we was getting barely any sleep. But when we had to eat, we ate like the kids. Obviously, we had this like little tiny janky meal, and I was like, man, this is 3 meals a day. This is it.
Yeah, 3
I was
meals,
like
snacks. Like,
shit. But then we could get like, they were like set, but you could get your own food. But come on, running around after them kids all day. We've got like a kid-sized meal. Like some of the instructors were jacked as well. They were huge.
Yeah, you guys were like ripped, probably.
Like some of them, just running around just complete. Well, I've got a really fast metabolism as well, so
yeah.
It's just, again, I'm like,
Lucky?
oh, it isn't. It isn't.
I know.
Every person I say that to, they're like, you lucky bastard, and I'm like, if only you knew how much food I had to eat just to sustain.
It's like a chore. It becomes a chore. Yeah.
It's very tricky.
I've had a few guy clients where, you know, they were just like, I just want to build muscle and get bigger. They're like, but I got to eat so much. Yeah. And so we had to really focus on like more calorically dense meals. But for me, it was so much fun because I was like, I rarely get to do this where I literally can say, you can eat this, this, and this, and more.
When I was really training, I'm a huge Ben and Jerry's fan, but some nights I'd go through 2 of those tubs, and I'd have like food throughout the day. I'd be just packing on, but I was just, it was horrible. Like the following morning, you'd wake up all bloaty and shitty, and you're like, oh, I've got to do this again. Jeez. And it was just, you know, it was worth it for the year and a half. Don't get me wrong, because before that I was like 9 stone, which was nothing. I had no frame, like no frame whatsoever, and it was sucked. 5'7", little skinny motherfucker. So it was just, you know, it wasn't very fun. So I'm glad I did it now.
The funniest thing is like, it's like with women, it's like any connotation of your fat is so bad, but then with men, it's like any connotation of you're skinny, it's so bad. It's like both are like, don't ever say that again, or that's so hurtful.
So strange, like our perceptions of things. You know, but I mean, it's not like I was never unhappy, but it was just like, you know, when you get a bit older and you're like, I'm still this size. I'm not gaining, not even gaining no fat. Come on, man, this is silly. You know, it was like just toned. That's all it was. And it wasn't even like proper muscular tone. It was just you know, toning. That was all it was. Fuck all. You know, so it was terrible. Like, so even then, and I gained no fat whatsoever. So, but luckily now my metabolism's a bit better, and I take a lot of supplements to. I think that's a lot of what it was, to be honest, was hormonal imbalances.
Yeah, definitely. And like, again, for somebody like you, certain supplements are necessary just to add those calories without having to stuff yourself. And then feel like crap, right? So same thing with like, if I have clients that are, you know, they are vegetarian, they're like, they don't eat meat. And I'm like looking at like what food they should have, because I love meat. And I'm just like, okay, we need to get protein. But in that case, I'm like, okay, we're going to have maybe 1 or 2 more protein shakes that are plant-based, you know, and that will up your numbers and we'll be able to, you know, fill you up, build muscle. Because a lot of vegetarians or vegans are actually carbitarians, and they eat just tons and tons of carbs, and they wonder why they're fat. And I'm just like, you're not eating healthy. Like Oreos are vegan.
Yeah, I mean, so potatoes, come on, let's be real. Potatoes are just great for you, but so much carbohydrate
They're
in them.
very starchy. It's a
Starch
very
as well.
starchy vegetable. Yeah.
Do you know one thing that I notice a lot of people that they don't do is when they make rice, especially like boiling the bag rice nowadays, they'll
Mhm.
make rice or even in a pan and they won't rinse it off afterwards. So it'll have all of this starch
Oh yeah.
still attached to it. But if you
Yeah.
run some cold water over the rice
And I do
just
that
put
like
a little,
5 or 6 times.
yeah,
Just like moving in there, rinsing it,
yeah,
dumping it. So yeah.
get
for
all
sure.
that out, man. But people don't do that, and they're like, I feel pretty shit after all this rice. And I'm like, you've just ate a pan's worth of starch.
Yeah.
Like, you ever seen what you can do to jeans with that shit? You can turn them into
Oh, yeah.
cardboard. Like,
Oh,
imagine
completely.
what that's doing to your internals. It's probably solidifying them.
Yeah.
And you're doing that 3 times a week. Shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
People don't realize just little things like that. Pasta's the same, but
Yeah.
most people just do it because they're like, well, I don't want cold food. And I'm like, yeah, but you could use hot water. But boil a kettle, just use that. Might be wasting
Yeah.
power, but at least you're not pouring loads of starch into your stomach.
Yeah.
Such
Totally.
a, might as
Yeah.
well just drink it out of the pan and save the effort. Like, it'd be disgusting, wouldn't it?
So gross. Oh my
Some old
god.
dirty pan water. Oh shit. To be honest, if you're trying to gain weight, if someone's out there listening and trying to gain weight, try that. See how it works for them. Give me some results back. Just let me know how. Yeah. Well,
Oh man.
well, it was kind of funny because I should have done a little shout out at the start of the show, but I'll plug it in there before. But someone's listening because someone found a film that I was looking for about 16 years, and I had a vague memory of it, and I shouted it out on a show, and then out of nowhere it got found. So, but it was a shocker. It was a weird film. It was very strange. It was like
What was it about?
well, it was the way I always explained it to people was I always caught the end of it. And I basically woke up. I was like sleeping on my couch as a kid. And I woke up to see this film of a guy on a roof. And he was fighting a hand, like a severed hand. And this hand threw him off the roof. And then there was like an end scene of all these hands walking down the street, like tons of them. And it was so strange, but I didn't know I knew it was real. I knew for a fact it was real. Every time I explained it to someone, they was like, it's the film Idle Hands. And I was like, look, it is not Idle Hands. To the point, like you get
of Adam's Family.
no, but the thing is, and it turned and like I say yesterday, out of nowhere, I got really excited because someone was like, is it this film? And I was like, and then I looked and I was like, oh my fucking God. And I'm not gonna lie, I let out the biggest like, yeah, I literally cheered like I was rooting for my favorite team or whatever, because I knew it was right. And it was like a long time. I watched it when I was a child. I'm now like 30. So I was like, is this just some vague childish memory? Nope. But what eluded me more was the fact that it was a Stephen King film. And I'm a huge Stephen King fan. So I'm like, how did I not know this? It's terrible. Let's put it that way. It was a terrible moment for me. It was a terrible moment, but a great one. Sorry, we'll get back onto the...
You found it though.
I know. The annoying thing is I've not even watched it yet. I've not even had the chance. I'm like, probably should just put it on. But obviously I'm too busy at the moment. So let's get back onto the fitness.
Okay.
What's your favorite kind of routine? Because like I'll get up, I'll have a little workout in the mornings, I'll do some resistance bands. Back in the day when I'd go to the gym, I'd probably go to the gym. I'll just do strength training, come home my day, but then I'd do like more resistance band training at night, just like before dinner, maybe after. I'd just stretch off before bed. What's your best sort of routine you could advise people?
Yeah, definitely. So I always coach my clients on, when you're looking at your day-to-day routine, find the most common times to actually, do your training, meal prep, and then get that extra activity in where you can. Me personally, I am not a morning person. The only time I ever worked out in the morning was when I was in the Army because I had to, and they told me I had to. Yeah, I was in the IDF. So my dad's Israeli. So I'm like
okay.
half American, half Israeli. So
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah.
When now you say the Israeli, I was like, the IDF? What's that? And then I was like, oh yeah, the Israeli Defense League. Yeah,
course.
yeah. I was like, IDF.
Yeah, so that's the only time I worked out at like 5 a.m. But now that I'm out of the army, in my normal day-to-day routine, I wake up, like it's a ritual for me. I have to have my coffee, and like I absolutely love to like, I love fresh coffees. Like I'm like my grinder, I actually like smell it. I'm like, oh fuck, this is so good. And then I make my coffee. I get started on my day with like just my online business, just checking emails, checking on clients, doing check-ins. And then basically between like the afternoon time is where I'm like, okay, I'm awake. I feel good. I can take a break from my computer. And that's when I like to go to the gym. So usually I'll go to the gym for just a strength training session. It might be 45 minutes. It might be a full hour and a half if I want to like take my time, like do mobility, but it's always some form of strength. The only thing I've added, honestly, this in the past 2 months has been jump rope, which has been phenomenal for just my physique. Like I can tell how like much more slimmer I've gotten in 2 months of just all I've been doing is 10 minutes as a warm up of jump rope. And this week I just started doing like 15 minutes. Ooh. So you just put on your favorite playlist and go.
The thing is with jump rope, it's amazingly good for you, but
it is so good. Oh, but no, that's good. The more terrible you are at it, the more calories you burn.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. So it's
I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's not good for me. Yeah, maybe that's why I've been burning so many calories over the years, trying to fucking skip. That's been my downfall this whole time. I'm like, come on, we're gonna learn skipping again. 600 calories later. Fuck, we didn't get it again.
I'll just do like regular, I'll do jump rope as warm up, do my actual like weightlifting regimen, which throughout the week, it'll be like very specific. So it'll be like upper body, lower body, something like that. And then I'll come home, I will walk my dogs on like a 30 to 40-minute dog walk.
That's good.
So I get my walking, I get my steps in, and usually on those walks, I listen to a podcast. And then after that, it's just, shower and then relax. And
what's some of your favorite podcasts? Because it's very strange. I've found that most women tend to like murder-based podcasts. they love it. There's like all these thrillers and serial killer ones. They love it. Apparently, Dr. Death is apparently, I don't know, I've not heard it yet. Apparently that's a really
Crime
good one.
Junkie was a podcast I listened to.
I knew it was coming. See, I knew it.
Every road trip. And no, I would listen to it on my walks, but I would start getting super paranoid, like, oh my God. But
yeah, that's the wrong place.
It's really good, really good. But I really am into there's two types of podcasts. I really like entrepreneur type podcasts, and like money financial podcasts. And then I really love mainly like health type podcast. Okay. But mainly just so I can keep upping my game, where the fitness industry is ever changing. So if there's something new that's coming out, or if there's a study done that shifts a perspective on something, I want to know about it. So that way, if I can implement it into my coaching, it benefits my clients.
Yep, makes sense.
But one of my top favorites right now is the Real Bradley podcast. He is an entrepreneur. He's the CEO of Lightspeed, but he basically brings on a ton of different entrepreneurs and interviews them and basically, ask them about their journey where they'll go 0 to 7 figures or, do crazy stuff, but like their background. And so it's super like motivating, inspiring, and he's just pretty badass dude. So I
used to listen to a lot of TEDx talks, but what's his name? Steve Sinners? Don't know. Might have made that name up. Something like that. Steve Sinex. Don't know. Gave it a stab twice. I'm terrible with names. Can't remember any of them nowadays. I'm terrible with them. Even 10 seconds after I'm told, I'm like, oh,
I know.
I've got it. It's there. Lately it's actors. I'm getting terrible with actors' names. I feel like I've got like onset dementia coming on. It's either that or I'm podcasting too much and listening to too much. I'm either forgetting everything and making way for a lot of new stuff, or I'm slowly losing my sanity. But we'll
Write it all down.
I'm sure we'll find out in about 2 years' time when my show's still going. But I'm like, this is the post. Shit, what was it? Yeah, I think it's coming at some point. It might just be the fact I'm having to chase my son around too much. Obviously, you do gymnastics. It's pretty cool that you was in the IDL. That's super crazy. That's like pretty
IDF.
IDF, Jesus. Oh my God. Fuck. I'd like to say this is all a legitimate joke, but it's not. like I'm just pulling these up. Like, no, I should have wrote it down. Why am I fucking, what is going on? I told you. So I forgot my actual question now. So
you said gymnastics.
Yeah, no, I knew what it was. So did you do any other outdoor sports like rock climbing or anything like that? Because that's pretty good for you.
Horseback riding.
Oof, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, I did Western riding, and I would do trick riding on horses, and
that's cool.
They called it, this class was like called Liberty, but you would ride bareback, and you would have yeah, you definitely want like a kind of well padded horse, like a chunky horse, or a horse that's like super muscular. You don't want the bony horse. You need basketball shorts for that. Or not basketball, biker shorts, like that. Basketball shorts. Biker shorts.
No, well, you said basketball first.
I know, I caught myself.
I know, see, this is what happens. You come on my show, you forget everything.
That's happening to me. But yeah, where, you know, you'd ride bareback and you'd have nothing but a hoop around their neck. So you wouldn't even have a bridle to control them. You had to use this like wire hoop to like steer them, and you would jump over like
that sounds tricky.
Hurdles.
Yeah.
And it was like the best show. Like it was like trick riding, show riding. So super fun.
Do you like a lasso?
No, I did bull whipping though.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Don't whip yourself, that hurts.
No, I've always wanted to own
like
a
bring
bull
it
whip.
around and you're like
yeah, I've always wanted to own one. You know, like the one like Catwoman has.
Yeah.
With that crack, like a proper
or like
crack.
Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, totally. Our examples completely different. I come up with Catwoman. You come up with Indiana Jones. I should have actually said Indiana Jones. I was watching it yesterday.
Catwoman for Halloween one day, and I was actually training at a gym at that time. And I had I was in like full black bodysuit, and I did have a whip.
Oh.
And I thought it would be hilarious, you know, just to joke and mess with my clients. And so I had one of my clients walk in, and he's like 55, 56. And he comes in, and I just like snap the whip, and I was like, get in there and warm up. And he was like, oh dear Lord, my heart's racing already. And the gym manager comes up to me and is like, Lehi, do not give any of the men a heart attack today. I was just joking.
I think they're coming to some BDSM class rather than a like, what kind of class are you running here?
I don't know. I've never done that because honestly, I had a client who's like, this was in Austin, and he was like a nerdy engineer, and like I told him to do burpees, and I smiled when I said it, and he was like, you are so mean. And he goes, you would do so well with like BDSM stuff. And I was like, he's like, and people would pay you good money, like basically to be like the mistress or something. And
sounded like you were making a proposition.
And I was just like, are you talking like the dungeon type stuff? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I was just like, first of all, as much as like the money part would like kind of be attractive, I was like, I can't actually hurt people. Like whipping somebody would just break my heart. And then the other thing is like, I would probably start laughing and ruin the experience for them because I would just think it's hilarious.
maybe it was like half propositioning you, you know? Well,
it made me think like, do you go to this type of thing? Like, what are you not telling me? He was like, don't take this the wrong way, Lehi, but.
Is this a club? Where is it? Like,
I was like, you've been there, haven't you?
So you're in Texas?
Nope, not anymore, but
Not
I
anymore.
was.
Oh, that's a shame. Because Texas is like Texas is like the Wild West at the minute, opening back
Oh,
up. And
Texas is awesome. I was born in Texas. Yeah, I'm a Texas girl. For
oh,
sure.
that's cool. I've always wanted to go to Texas just because that's where the current comedy scene is as well. And they've got a lot going on there. And it looks pretty fun. But
oh, it's so much fun. So much fun.
yeah, I do want to plan next year, probably a holiday out to Texas.
Yeah, they have like.
Sorry, Karen.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, go on. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of places I'd like to visit in America, but Texas is, up there. Originally, it was like, hey, let's go New York, but it's like, I don't know about that.
I would not go to New York.
Yeah. California, I don't know. I don't know. It depends where.
I wouldn't really go right now because it's
not right now.
too like it's boring. It's like restrictive, and also like I've had friends who have gone, and like any of those big cities like San Francisco, like they're just absolute shitholes because the homeless have taken over, and there's no penalizing for like just like the drugs, the needles on the ground, like it's just absolute crap. So yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge advocate for drugs. Smoke cannabis, but that's it. That's a fun fact.
Well, I'm talking about like heroin here. Like they've got like addicts and like craziness happening. It's just like it's dirty, it's gross, and people are like literally they have a poop squad that people pick up like human shit off the street, where I'm just like, who, like, the politicians that are running it not well, because if you have to have a poop squad, like that's terrible. Or like you need to get a program where
an app that tells you where it is, like in case you need to avoid it. How are you not gonna, what's that about? How are you not gonna avoid it? You're just gonna be like, oh man, I'll best put this app on.
Like, can you imagine being at a restaurant and then some homeless person just like drops their trousers and starts taking shit
outside of the window?
Like, that would be an absolute nightmare.
It's like, wow. It's like a sketch, the way I see America sometimes. It's all like one big skit, with just some states, because it's like, wow, it's wild. Like, you've got an app that tracks human shit. Who does that? Who's tracking this? What are they doing? Taking pictures and uploading it? How is this? How does that system work? So bizarre.
Yeah.
So crazy. Very, very bizarre. So my partner has a question.
Sure.
It's a legitimate question. Obviously, we had a baby 2 years ago, and she's still got a bit of the baby fat around her stomach, And she was asking me today, because she knew I was coming on to talk to someone who knew a lot more than me, because she's not going to listen to me either way. I'm like, you need to do. My advice might probably be the same as yours, surprisingly. But yeah, she just wants to just get rid of it, and it's a tricky one. It's pretty tricky without,
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of moms during pregnancy, post-pregnancy, and the biggest thing is like, it just depends, like if she was how much overweight, if she was overweight before, and then how much weight she put on during, and then after. Okay. However, that being so, and that's just in regards to how much like the stomach stretches.
Yep.
Because then there's like a little bit of loose skin. But all the moms that I've worked with, it was as simple as determining their proper calorie deficit and sticking to it. Number 2, strength train. And then number 3, good sleep. If she's getting good sleep, that means everything she's doing in the gym is going to be seen result-wise after she has proper like recovery and repair, which happens when we sleep. And then the more she hydrates too. So like obviously more water. I will say I don't know too much about like collagen as a good supplement, but I have heard really good things for women regarding our skin. So maybe that's something to look into, but obviously do your research. But yeah, I would say if she can just stick to her caloric deficit, which I don't know if I emailed it to you, but I have a free resource.
Yeah, you did,
where it's like a fat loss guide. Yep. And all it is taking a step-by-step through how to determine like your resting metabolic rate, your maintenance, and then your actual calorie goal. If you want to lose, half a pound to a pound a week, which is what you should do. Like
Yep.
for women, half a pound to a pound is the starting. For men, you guys could probably do 1 to 2 pounds a week. That's fine. But for women, slow and steady wins the race, especially because as women, when we start losing the weight, we want to do it slow so that our body has a chance to tighten up. Because if I've had women where they've lost a ton of weight very quickly and they're pissed because their boobs are kind of like sagging and then they have loose skin. And I'm like, you did it too fast. Like we're going to
elasticity's problem.
So the biggest thing is slow and steady wins the race, and then getting on a good strength training program, which I have a couple if she wants online that, you know, she can look into.
No, that'd be okay. It's like elasticity is a weird one because even like I'm getting it lately with like my neck, and it's strange. Like I've got this weird elasticated neck. Like you can see it. Look, like
you're pulling on it.
I know. Well, no, but if I'm
we all have a double chin when we do this.
Yeah. But no, but it's weird. But I'm going to get one of those jaws size things. See if that gets, because I think that's what it is. I think it's just me. It's just like a ball that you put in your mouth and you just chew it. Like I didn't even need to do that motion then, like a shark. Like fucking weirdo. But yeah, it's just like a it's like a ball that I was calling that myself then. It's just a
oh my god,
it's just a ball that you put in your mouth. Essentially, you chew it.
Sounds like you. Sorry, no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Sorry, no, go on. No, I am interested. Go on.
You said ball in the mouth, and I'm thinking I'm going back to like a gag or something. Like, whoa, what are we doing here?
Yeah, well, this is what you have to do is you have to go down and order for it from a specific website. I think it's called lovehoney.com. They sell them on there. It's in a different section. They look no, it's not clearly not. No, they're literally it's just called jaws of size. And it's just it's like a foam ball that you put in your mouth and you chew it and it tones up your jaws. A lot of younger people are doing it nowadays. There's some guy, there's a meme of this guy.
I feel like that would just hurt.
Huge. Yeah, I mean,
it made my jaw sore.
Yeah,
in not a good way.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah.
And then I would say also for her, doing more of like, I will say like a paleo type of diet if she wants to like speed things up is a good way to go, but don't do it paleo strict. I would say be flexible. So try to make, again, 80-20 rule, 80% of it paleo, 20% of it include the things you love, just because what paleo does is it makes sure you get a lot of like your natural whole foods in, and eliminates a lot of foods that are like quote unquote like inflammatory, and just cause, especially with women, cause us to bloat, cause us to have that belly pooch. So it'll eliminate things like dairy, gluten. She'll probably eliminate alcohol for just a little bit, but she can put it back in.
To be honest, she doesn't really drink.
Oh, well then she wouldn't have a problem with it. But when it eliminates all of those like inflammatory foods that our body might like have more inflammation from, it'll help her like really just drop pounds a lot faster and easier, but also she's going to feel a difference too. And then she can reintroduce those foods like dairy, but I would do it one at a time. So reintroduce one food at a time and see how your body actually reacts. And if you don't feel good, take it out, don't have it, except for maybe like a super special occasion, like you go to a wedding. It's like, you don't want to be like, I'm sorry, is this cake gluten-free? Like, don't be that person. Have the cake, it's fine. But
they're the worst.
In your own like control, you know, make sure you do that. So, because I've seen a huge difference for myself. And the only reason I went paleo for the past like 2 weeks now was to rebalance my own hormones, just for my own reasons. And I have seen such a huge difference in how I'm feeling. And also I've dropped 6 pounds like very quickly, where I was just, and again, a lot of that is water weight. It's not fat, but a lot of it, that inflammation too, that I'm sure has gone down. So all I can say is like, eliminating inflammatory foods is another great way to like start to slim down, trim down. And again, don't do it strict.
Big one.
Just do, yeah. Well, that's another thing. The more water you drink, you're going to flush out any of those toxins or things that are stuck.
Yep.
And remove like just all of that back. So, which for everybody, I'm just going to say it now, just as a nutritionist, but you should poop every single day. Like that's healthy. You need to, if you're constipated, you're going to start having issues that go beyond just feeling uncomfortable. But yeah, you need to have fiber.
I had a male friend that used to
fiber
poo every like 2 days, and I'm like, what?
How? Like, yeah, no.
I'm like, wow,
That's
you must have some really bad cramps.
Toxic. You want to get it all out. That's one way your body expels toxins. We expel toxins by pooping, sweating,
all the horrible shit, to be honest.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, whenever you see like stuff that says like, oh, take this detox tea or detox this and that, it's like, we already have a detox. Like it's our liver and our kidneys. They do it. But what we can do is eliminate exposure to things that like pile on those toxins. So,
yeah, I'm a huge fan of kidney stones. I get them all the time.
Oh,
yeah. So,
sorry.
Nah, it's my own fault. Mine was because of dairy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were calcium-based stones, and I had this diet when I was a child, and it was basically just milk and pasta and cheese, and it was just anything had cheese on it. If I had like a pasta bake, on goes a block of cheese. And this happened like all the way up until I was like 22. Yeah. And then I got my first one and I was like, wow, this is one of the most painful.
And they have a lot of dairy-free options now too, so.
Well, the thing is I didn't really change anything. They just said to cut down little bits here and there. I did that, made no difference. I still kept getting them. So I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And hopefully they just get like lesser. Yeah. And then like the last one, well, the last one wasn't as bad. Yeah. I mean, it was painful to piss out, but I was like, this wasn't as painful. So I'm like, let's see what the next one's like. But again, it's just like a balanced diet. You know, I don't really do myself any favors. Well, listen, before we started the show, well, I'm ending on a kidney story.
Pick up where we left off.
Yeah. End on a kidney note. But yeah, no, obviously you've got an appointment to go to. You mentioned that before the show, which is why we kind of did it a bit early. But we've run over that little bit of time that but it's been very, very fun.
I absolutely enjoyed this. This is great. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's absolutely been perfect. It's been a pleasure. Where can people follow you? Because I know I'm going to. And
yes, my Instagram is the best place. It's at Lehi_Kafri. So just Lehi.
And that's Lehi, by the way.
Lehi.
It's Lehi, by the way. For your listeners out there that mistakenly mess up the pronunciation of a voice, it's Lehi.
Yes. And then if you click the link in my bio on my Instagram page, all of my free resources are there. So I have the free fat loss blueprint, and that will help everyone figure out their proper calorie deficit. So I always say, if you're on the fat loss journey or you want to lose weight or get in better shape, the first place to start is nutrition. So start with that. And I also have a fit quiz, which kind of tells you like your best fat loss strategy, like what's your winning approach, what type of person are you, and what will be the best solutions for you.
Yep. No.
And it'll put you on my email list where you'll get all kinds of like great information around like nutrition, exercise. So yeah, and I keep them short too, so don't worry. One email a week, very short and sweet, with something tangible that you guys can actually implement into your life, because in the end, it's all about healthy lifestyle and habit changes.
See, that's a better note to end on, not kidney stones. Well, listen, this has been the Post-Human Podcast. I've been here with Lehi. There we go. And we'll keep it real and take it easy, people.